And I don't mind a tall hat. So, oh, it looks so cute. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Welcome to episode 268 of the Love in Stitches podcast. It is a gloomy, rainy Monday, and we had a rough night of storms last night, which kept us up pretty late. Little Toaster is pretty afraid of storms, so we're rallying today and getting things together, but I am definitely looking forward to later today where I can maybe take a little rest. I am thinking about doing some spinning. I haven't been spinning in a while. Anyway, I'm just looking forward to the coziness that comes with a rainy day and relaxing. I do have a finished object this week, which I'm really excited to share. I am in a getting things done mindset right now. We are counting down till when we are leaving again in our van for about a 4-month trip. So I am trying to knock things off the list. So with that, let's get into the projects. I forgot to share with you what I'm wearing, so we'll start with that and then I'll tell you more about my first project. So this is the long summer cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I actually had it in my pile of things to donate because I haven't been wearing it as much. When I first made it years ago, I wore it all the time. It's very comfortable. I love it so much, but I feel like the style of it for me is not something that I'm gravitating towards in the last couple of years. So I've actually had it in a pile to wash and then donate, and I needed something to put on today, and so I just grabbed it, and I'm like, maybe I won't get rid of it quite yet. It's really comfortable. I made it out of moon glow. I have a bunch of different pinks. It's super long, which is really nice. I don't know. So I can't, whoa, what is happening here? Fix my chair. I can't decide if I'm going to donate it or keep it. I think since I'm undecided, I will just keep it for now, but it probably still needs a wash because it's been a while. Okay, so I have finished something this week, one of the projects that I have been working on, and that is my Handspun Manhattan Hat. The Manhattan Hat is a pattern by Tote. There is a worsted weight version, that's the one that I did, and then there's a fingering weight version. However, this is the second time I've made the worsted weight version, and each time I haven't actually used worsted weight yarn. The first one I did use a DK weight skein and it worked out great. So when I finished spinning up this yarn and I was trying to figure out what weight of yarn it was varied. It was definitely varied, and it was kind of leaning towards DK. So I thought, I feel like this is going to be a pretty forgiving pattern. It's all 1x1 rib. And I think it worked out totally fine. Like, it fits great. I think I used maybe one size down of the needle size recommended because that's what I did with my first one. I can't quite remember, but it's all on my project page. And it's honestly worked out perfect. I was able to finish it last night, block it, and it dried by this morning thanks to my, what is it called? My spin dryer. The spin dryer is amazing. It spins out so much water. So it's all dry and ready for me to try on, which I'm really excited about. But I want to tell you more about the yarn first. So I learned to spin back in November, like late November, and I did a practice skein, like a really small, about this size. It wasn't this one, but a mini skein, just like this. And then this yarn that I produced for this hat is the first, I would say, like real skein of yarn that I made, because it's the first thing I set out where I wasn't learning to spin, but I was just honing my spinning skills, practicing, whatever. So I used one braid of, I can't remember the colorway name, but it's from the Little Wolf Knits, and it was like a pinky purple, really pretty. And then I used another one that was just white, and I spun those two together and made a 2-ply yarn. So here's one of the cakes that I still have left over. I have a really tiny spinning wheel, and so I ended up with about, I think, 4 of these little cakes of varying sizes. But all in all, it was only like 3.5 ounces or something like that. It wasn't huge. So basically about a skein of yarn. But I have a ton left over from doing this hat. So this hat I feel like is a great pattern for your single skeins because it uses up a lot of yarn. And I specifically picked this for my first handspun project because I saw Tori herself She's also going through a spinning journey. It's really cool. She's doing amazing. She's trying so many things and like is really, really good at spinning. And she made a Manhattan hat out of one of her hand spun yarns. So I was like, you know what? That's what I will do. That will be really fun. So I picked out the 3 skeins that I felt like blended into each other. So I had one that was very purple, and actually you can see that down here. So my first skein was very purple. And then I had one that was more like, I don't know, purpley pink. And then I think like right here maybe. I had to join in a new skein pretty close to the end. So like one of the skeins went from like pretty purpley to pretty pinky, and then I had to join in a new one somewhere right here, which came from this skein. This one was the pinkest one. So I put them in order of a gradient to make them kind of gradiate throughout the hat. And then I shared last week that even though I thought out carefully what order I was going to do the yarns in, what I didn't think about is once I caked them up, I didn't go, okay, where in the skein is it starting at the most purple? Because I wanted to go purple to pink. Where is it starting at the most purple? I just started from the center. And so I actually kind of ended up doing the first skein like backwards. Like I should have started it down here where it was the most purple right here, and then let it fade into the pink, because then that would blend into this, right? But this actually worked out in my favor because this is a double brim hat. It folds up twice, and that means the colors line up. So let me show you what I mean. When I actually folded up twice, the purple ends up at the bottom. Oh, hold on, focus. There we go. The purple actually ends up at the bottom. So my moment of not thinking things through actually worked out for me, which is really, really great. So yeah, I have a bunch of hand spun yarn left over. I don't have any plans to use this right now. I don't know what to do with it. But it was fun to see my kind of progress of spinning as I knit through what I had spun. So we're gonna go close up again. Sorry for all the back and forthness, but I believe this one that I first knit with probably was my first thing that I spun. You can kind of tell, actually you can definitely tell. You can see where I switched skeins here, right? How this is a little bit poofier, thicker, more thick and thin. And then this draws in, like you can see it right there, draws in a little bit. So I believe this right here was my first skein. So actually down here was where I started, and it starts to get a little more even as I go to here. And then because I kind of knit this skein backwards, really the progress is here to here and then here as far as spinning goes. And then you can see things are getting a little bit more even, a little bit thinner. And then it's harder to tell visually, but I could tell like knitting it, that by the time I got to this skein, things are much more even and consistent. I mean, not very, but definitely better. So that was kind of fun to experience. I had portions of it that were super, super thin, like almost fingering weight, and then parts of it that were really, really puffy and like almost chunky weight, but everything worked out in the hat because it's very, very stretchy and forgiving. So I loved that about it. Now, something to keep in mind if you're making this hat is when you weave in your ends, you want to think about how you're folding it up. So I actually have, oh, here we go. I actually have some ends that appear to be on the outside. See, there's an end that I have woven in, but when I fold up the brim, it actually ends up inside the hat. So I did a lot of like, I left all my ends until the end, and then I ended up, there's 2 different ways you can do the decreases at the top. They're really fun. It makes this really cool pattern like this. And the way I did mine is I did the knit decreases. So really you knit the entire hat inside out. And when you get to the top, you do knit decreases like this. And then you do a 3 needle bind off, and then you flip the whole thing inside out. And then this is the right side of your hat. So just a little PSA to like save weaving in your ends until the end so you really know where they're gonna fall in the hat, because I was confusing myself before trying to figure it out. And I'm like, just wait until the end, it will all make sense. And it did. So let's try this thing on. I'm really happy with it. So there's different versions of the hat. You can do one that has no brim, one that the brim just folds up once. And this is the one where the brim folds up twice, which is what I did for my other hat as well. I really like it. It's also nice because you can make the brim wider if you end up making the hat a little too tall, and it will, shrink the whole hat, because it just depends on how tall you want it to end up at the top. And I don't mind a tall hat. So, oh, it looks so cute. Oh my gosh. I will say, I'm really proud of myself. I feel like I can't believe that I made yarn and then that I knitted with it. Would this be a yarn that I would go intentionally shop for? Maybe not, but I feel like it's kind of like when you cook your own food, like even if you're not the best cook, it tastes better because you made it. And I feel like the same thing with this yarn, like it was more exciting to knit because I made it. And I'm like happier with the hat because I went through 2 processes to create this, which is really, really cool. So I'm so proud of myself for not only spinning yarn, but also working with it. And this is kind of giving me a little bit of a boost to get back into the big spinning project that I started in February, which has just been on pause for several weeks now. I think I burnt myself out with spinning for a little bit and I needed a break. So I'm feeling like, okay, I'm finishing this. I finished some other things. Maybe now I can get back into the spinning now that I have one thing done. If you watched the podcast last week, you will remember that everything was kind of going wrong, mainly for one project, but man, it was like one thing after the other. This week, that is not the case. Things seem to be going right for all of my projects, including this next one, which is my Brioche Cowl. So this is a cowl loosely inspired by a free pattern called Brioche Loop. I have made lots of changes to it, including the stitch count, the stitch pattern, and everything else. So really, it's just a pattern that is kind of living in my own head / something I created for the Love and Stitches membership as we went through March learning brioche techniques. So this is what I'm just calling my Brioche Cowl. There's no real pattern to it. And I have done a ton on it and I'm so happy with how it's coming out. So when I had just gotten through a little bit of the increasing and decreasing right here, I wasn't sure if I was super happy with the patterning, but now that I've done all of my repeats of increases and decreases, I actually really love how this looks. I almost wish I had just done it for the entire cowl. I think an entire cowl just of that, it's really, really simple and easy, would be beautiful. But what I'm doing now is I am going to just this right down here at the bottom where it's just the 1x1 like brioche. I'm going to do that at the top and then that will complete the cowl. So I'm really hoping I can get this done maybe this week. I did a lot of brioche knitting last week, so if I can do at least that much and bind off, hopefully I can finish this guy up this week. We'll see. I have some other knitting goals and maybe some spinning ones to do as well. But I'm really happy with how this is looking. It's just a single loop cowl. I want it to be kind of tall because of that, so it'll kind of scrunch down and be something comfy and easy to wear. The yarn is so squishy. It's Ruby and Roses in her, what's the base called? Plump Rose base, which is an 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon, 2-ply. And I've got 2 colors here. I have Material Girl is the bright pink one, and Rosy Cheeks is the light pink one. And this is going to be part of a set that I'm hopefully going to finish at some point. I want to do gloves out of the hot pink and a hat out of, actually probably another Manhattan hat maybe, out of the light pink. And then I'll kind of have a coordinating set. So yeah, this is going really great. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. I'm enjoying the brioche. It's really fun. And it's another project that I am just trying to, I'm enjoying it, but I really want to cast on new things. So I'm trying to knock this off the list. So this week was the hat. Hopefully, or I guess this past week was the hat. This week I'm hoping to finish this cowl, and then my project list will be pretty cleared, honestly. I won't have any more, at least, ongoing whips. I do have a few things that I am trying to complete that are lingering things. You'll actually see that more next week. I recorded a video going through all of my lingering whips that I'm going to share. And then we're also casting on for the float tote cowl this week, but I don't think I have. Oh no, I did order more yarn. So maybe I'll have that to share next week too. I did cast on one new thing this week, so let's go to that to end out our projects. I needed a project this week to take with me while we were walking around and out and about. So I started a Yarn Cozy Lite. This is a pattern that I created, and it is super fun and super functional. It's very easy to do. I prefer to do my cozies on magic loop, but basically it looks like this. This is a yarn cozy that I did not knit, that somebody made for me. So in the yarn cozy pattern, there is the plain version that I just showed. There is this one, which is faux cables, and it just holds your yarn cake just like that. They're just wonderful. And then there's also instructions on how to use self-striping yarn. I really like these as a way to use up leftovers, but specifically I cast on this one because I want to commemorate this special colorway. So you may recognize this from my beachcomber flares. I have so much yarn. I actually have two of these. These are 50 grams. So I have two 50-gram cakes. I basically have an entire skein left over. Plus I have a sample skein when we first dyed up the color. So Brianna and I collaborated to create this colorway. She was the one who dyed it, but I was the one who provided the color inspiration. And then we created this color for our memberships, and we called it Bottoms Up because it came out in the new year. So it was bottoms up, like cheers to the new year, but then also we were making garment bottoms. So it's a really fun colorway. And of course, I'm going to wear my pants and love my pants. I did, just a little update, I did fix those. So now both pant legs are the same length. And all I need to do now is I realized that I had done the bottom hem on one of the pants incorrectly, and it wasn't laying flat. So I need to fix that. I've already done half of the work I need to do on that. And then I need to add an elastic. So that's all happening. You don't need to see the pants again. Just maybe I'll wear them next week or something. But that's getting done. But I wanted to have another thing that I know I will keep and use all the time to remember this colorway. I've tried to do yarn cozies out of all of the special colorways that I've created with various dyers because, again, it's just something fun to remember and celebrate that colorway. It's wild to me that that's something that I get to do with people, is create unique colorways. It's so much fun. So I want to have something special to remember. I'm also thinking that this Saturday is the Knit for Food Knit-a-thon, and for the past 2 years, I have made yarn cozies I made 2 yarn cozies as prizes. I try to work on most of it on Knit for Food Knit-a-thon, but for anyone who has donated under Team Love and Stitches, I just draw from those names and send you a yarn cozy. So I will try to get more of these done because I want to have one for myself, but I can always do that later. So maybe this one will end up being the Knit for Food one. But yeah, yarn cozies for me serve so many purposes. They're obviously very functional. I love to remember colorways with them. And then they're also just a perfect project for taking around. It doesn't take, this is the largest one. It's the 100-gram skein or 100-gram cake one, but there are smaller ones. And I can usually get the cast on and increases done in under an hour, probably 30 minutes for the smaller ones. So then you just have a really super simple project to take with you. I make them at the movies all the time. So that's another thing that I'll be working on here and there. Has no real finish date, but that's it. That's all I have going right now, which is very exciting. After all the major projects that I worked on in March, it's nice to have a week where I'm just working on a doable amount of whips. Real quick, I wanted to share with you my code again for the spinning siren. This is the Eel Wheel Nano box, which they also make a box for the Eel Wheel 6. And she saw all my vlog and everything and gave me a code that I can share. It's for 15% off, and the code is my favorite people. So let's take a look at my spinning real quick. I actually haven't opened up this box in like 2 weeks. So I am working on my second single or second ply of this spin. And I really need to get back into it because I've kind of lost my spinning mojo a little bit. I've been going hard with crocheting. I finished my blanket and then trying to like wrap up all these small projects that I started over the last couple of months. So I think this is the week that I am getting back into spinning, even if I can just do a few minutes each day. Honestly, I should probably just do like 15 or 20 minutes a day and I could get one color done a day, but we'll see. I'll try to get back into it maybe tonight a little bit, but the box is super great, super awesome. Everything gets stored inside of it. And then you just put on the lid, which is super convenient for traveling because it's also very lightweight, but it's also pretty convenient for just carrying around the house because sometimes I'm spinning down here, sometimes I take my spinning upstairs, so super handy. And I wanted to make sure to share that code again, since I think I only shared it last week. Okay, what else is happening? Let me pull this over here. The Float Toe Make-Along is starting this Friday, April 4th. So this is the Float Tote. It is a crochet pattern, missed that. And I have revamped the pattern since I wrote it, I think 7 years ago. So it is new and improved. There are some changes to the pattern, but also we are going to have a crochet along. Finally, I've been wanting to do this for years. So if you are a newer crocheter, I think this is the perfect crochet along for you because I am releasing video tutorials every single week for the cowl, and it all builds on the previous week. So here's what we're gonna do. Let me find. So we are going to start week 1. So starting on Friday, we are going to make the yarn cup. It starts at the bottom here. We work increases, then we work the walls, and you will make, depending on what size you're making, 3 or 5. I'm making the 3 skein totes. So 3 of these in the week. This is perfect because how we start on the bottom is going to build on what we do in week 2, which is the tray. So the tray is marled and it sits inside the tote. I'll explain more about that in a minute. And then, hold on, I'm gonna get all this stuff out here. And then we're also going to do the bottom of the bag. So week 2 has a little more crochet in it, but you'll be ready because you'll have done the yarn cups. Week 3, we are going to do the walls of the tote. So all the way up till the handle portion. That is going to be smooth sailing, easy peasy. It's just crocheting around and around and around and remembering to change colors when you need to. And then week 4, it's only a few days long. It's like that last little bit of April. We're going to do the handles and the edging. There's several different edging options. This one is a reverse single crochet or a crab stitch. It's one of my favorites. You can also just do, you know, 1 row of single crochet. I have in the pattern a spike stitch, or you can do really anything that you want to do. So that is the Float Tote Cowl. It's going to be really fun. It's free to participate in, and all you need is the pattern in order to, you know, work through things. So the Float Tote itself is a nice little tote bag. Again, this is the 3 skein size. I use Lily Sugar and Cream, held double. It is a little tough to crochet with, but it makes a really nice, like pretty rigid tote. So inside the Float Tote, you have a tray. This one's actually not finished yet. I don't have the hardware on here on either one of these things, but I do have one of my old ones. So ignore this part because the cups don't look like this anymore. But you can attach these magnetic snaps, which then attach to the tray, and it holds 3 yarn cups in place, again, depending on the size. And that way you can put your cakes in here. And if you're working on a project, whether it has color work, so it has floats, or it's just multiple skeins, it keeps everything organized for you. You can work, you know, if you work in the round, you can just keep rotating this round and round. so that your yarn doesn't get twisted. It's so nice. If you're working back and forth, you can rotate it back and forth or just leave it on the table and rotate your project back and forth. Basically, I wanted a project bag that wasn't going to just dump my yarn and project all together and get tangled every time I put it away. And that's what the Float Tote is. So this sits in the bottom of your bag. Your project sits on top. For the most part, all you have to do is pick your project up and maybe like turn it one way or the other and you're untangled. So I love this tote bag. It is super, super helpful. You can also fold it down really easily, just like this, which is very handy and nice. And then, dump all your stuff in here. This is all my extra yarn from this one. Fold it back up and take it on the go with you. So that's what's happening April 4th. We will be crocheting April 4th through the 30th. And if you're signed up, you have to sign up for the cowl. Again, it's free, but you will be getting emails from me every Friday with the new tutorials. And then you'll also get an extra email on April 4th and April 30th because we are doing a Zoom that night. We're doing a kickoff Zoom and a closing Zoom. It's going to be really fun, very casual, nothing too crazy, but I will be there hosting. Somebody requested that Toaster's there, so we're going to bring Toaster in for the kickoff Zoom and he can say hi, and we're going to be chatting and sharing the colors that we're using for the tote and all kinds of things. So it will be fun. I'm very excited for it. We also have a Discord. So if you are already signed up, check your email because you should have gotten one from me on Tuesday, April 1st, inviting you to the Discord server. And that's just another community space where we can share photos and chat, and you can ask me questions about the pattern if you're needing help. And we'll also be doing prizes from the Discord. So you can sign up for the cowl at any point during the make-along. I think I am going to close it on like April 29th. So come and join us whenever you see this. All right, two more things, sorry. Also happening this weekend on Saturday, April 5th is the Knit for Food Knit-a-thon. And we have done such a good job with fundraising. I'm so excited. The fundraising doesn't close until, I believe, midnight on April 5th. So just for our team, Love and Stitches, we have raised $4,970, which is incredible. That is like 2/3 as much as we raised last year, which is amazing. And it's not even over yet. So hoping we can continue to fundraise. I believe for the overall knit-a-thon, they are already like 2/3 of the way to the total goal, which is about $300,000, which is incredible. So this, the Knit for Food Knit-a-thon is hosted by Laura Nelkin. It benefits Feeding America, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, and Meals on Wheels. So all of the money that is raised is going to go to those organizations. So just amazing. And we're going to be Zooming all day on Saturday. Laura hosts it. There's different activities happening throughout the day. So if you have signed up, if you've signed up under my team, look for an email from me on Friday. And if you have signed up yourself and raised $100, then you should be getting your own email. So be on the lookout for that, and then you can join in with the Zoom things. I am also going to be participating in the game night, which is one of the last things that's happening on Saturday. I don't know who else is a guest, so I will be there as a participant, so look for me there. Last thing here is Yarn Centric. Yarn Centric is coming up on Friday, May 2nd in Frederick, Maryland. It is adjacent to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and Kent and I will be there at both events. We're really excited. It's going to be my first year at Yarn Centric and my second year at Maryland Sheep and Wool, but we haven't been since 2022, I think. It's been a while. So very excited for this. It's actually going to be the first thing that is going to kick off our travel for this summer. So it's coming up really, really soon, just about a month away. So you can find all the information for Yarn Centric at yarncentric.com. You do need to sign up and get a ticket. It is a ticketed event with time slots. Though I do still have some free tickets to give away. They reached out to me and said I can give away 50 free tickets, and I think we have about 15 left. So if you are going to Yarn Centric and you'd like a free ticket, all you need to do is email them at yarncentric@gmail.com. Say that you saw it on my podcast and mention the secret code toaster, and just tell them your preferred time slot and they will get you set up with a free ticket, which is wonderful, really exciting. I will also be at Yarn Centric. I think I'm going to be there from about noon to like 3 o'clock maybe. We'll be filming, but we will do a meet and greet from 1 to 2 p.m. And when I have more information about where that's going to be, I will let you know. This past week has been a really fun week because it was Kent's birthday, and also my brother and his fiance were in Nashville for a joint bachelorette party. So we had a lot of fun. I'm actually surprised I got any knitting done at all, but I did get some things done. So for Kent's birthday, we went to a new omakase sushi restaurant here in Nashville, which was really fun. I did not take a lot of pictures of the sushi because we were just enjoying the moment, but I did take a picture of this tiny little orange bear that the chef had made, which was really cute. The sushi was awesome. It was a fun experience. I always love omakase. We miss the place that we used to go to all the time in New York so much. So it was fun to get to do that. We also went to the zoo for Kent's birthday. That's when I cast this guy on, so I had something to walk around with. One of my brothers flew into Nashville for the bachelorette party, and so we picked him up from the airport and then went straight to the zoo and walked around the zoo. It was a beautiful day, really lovely. Got to see a bunch of animals, so it was so much fun. And then that evening we went to Hot Pot for Kent's birthday, and my brother that lives in Nashville and his wife joined us. And was that it? Did my parents join us? No, I think, oh, some of our other friends joined us too. We had a big group. I was like, who was all there? So it was great. Okay, we got to celebrate Kent's birthday, which was really fun. And then on Friday, my brother's bachelor party began, and we had so much fun this whole weekend. We stayed in a Dolly Parton themed Airbnb, which was really cute. Surprisingly, there's more than one in Nashville. They're absolutely adorable. The room that Kent and I stayed in, we shared with one of my brothers, was awesome. It had a queen size bed on the bottom and then 2 twin size beds, like bunk beds. And it was really cool. It was all pink. I didn't take a picture of this, but the stairs, like I don't know what it's called, like the front part of the stairs was painted pink in a gradient. It was adorable. It was so cute. I loved the place. It was awesome. So we stayed in the Dolly Parton theme Airbnb. We went to a drag brunch, which was really fun. We went to the Graduate Hotel, which just happens to have a Dolly Parton inspired and themed like bar and restaurant and Dolly Parton sculpture. And it's the white limousine. So if you remember, my very last hexie in my blanket is white limousine. It's called white limousine, and it is from Seismic Yarn, and it was made up as a special colorway for Nash Yarn Fest that happened a few weeks ago. And I didn't know what white limousine was when I got the colorway, when Ava gifted it to me. And I was like, it was really pretty. It's pink. I love it so much. It's inspired by Nashville. I was like, cool, that's perfect. It's a great way to end my blanket, to close it out in Tennessee because that's where I'm from. And then my brother's fiance was like, I really want to go to this hotel. And so we go to the hotel and the lobby is adorable. They actually have a little coffee shop and all this like really cute artsy stuff. And then they have this space that's like stacked tiered like couches and stuff. It was so cute. So I was like, wow, this place is adorable. I love it so much. And then we go up in the elevator to see the Dolly Parton thing, and I see white limousine. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We just happened to come to the place that I didn't know about and I just learned about, and it's related to Nashville and it's related to my blanket. And I don't know, I just thought that was pretty special and pretty cool. So we went up onto the rooftop. The bar itself was really cool, decorated, super cute. We went outside and took some pictures with the Dolly Parton sculpture. There's even a little pool. I didn't get a picture of this, but there's a little pool. The weather was rainy and cold, so it wasn't something that you would want to do on that day, but it was all just really cute. So that was super fun. Such a great weekend. Definitely still recovering from lack of sleep because we were up late, either going out or like playing games or watching stuff together. So I could have done another day for sure. Like I am sad that everyone has gone home, but it was really fun nonetheless. So Yeah, I actually did stuff this week instead of just being at home knitting and crocheting, which is great. So it was really fun. All right, I think that's everything for this week. I am so sorry we didn't get a Tuesday video out this week for many different reasons. A lot of it was just because we had so much going on, just like life stuff, also with some sickness, also with like, I have a lot of doctor's appointments because we're here in town and we're trying to get all of our doctor's appointments that we haven't been doing for the last 2 years done right now. So there's just been a lot of different things going on that it just felt like too much to try to push and get a video out on Tuesday. But I do have coming up next week a video all about going through my lingering whips and deciding what's a frog and what's a finish. So you're going to see that next week, and you're also going to see it come into the podcast as I start to finish some lingering things. Very excited about that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.